Wayne goes to Tanis for a day. They realize they're not each other's bae. Meanwhile, the wackos who rave of hikes and tacos claim everything's better in LA.
It's not Thirsty Thursday, but it is Wine Wednesday. And that means we are once again hanging out at the Produce Stand, a podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is also available on the dark web. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya. And online we have Squirrely Matt, the vulgar Victor. And joining us tonight on the panel, she's known as Not Hannibal Lecter on Twitter. She's a patron, which makes her A-OK in our books. Please join me in making some noise for Anna.
Wondrous!
Oh my god!
What? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait!
Oh my god!
I regret nothing!
Welcome to the Produce Stand, Anna.
Thank you.
Anna, where are you speaking to us from?
I am coming in from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York?
Brooklyn, New York. That's right.
Cool. Not Brooklyn, Ontario. Cool.
Not Brooklyn, Ontario. Not Brookline, Massachusetts. Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, thank God, not from Massachusetts, because, well, you know. What do you do for a living, if you don't mind us asking?
Well, that is a tricky question these days. So I used to make most of my money from being an interpreter at court, from Russian to English and English to Russian.
Oh, wow.
But that has been not a thing since last March. So now most of my income comes from an online postage store.
I was just about to ask you about this. I run
and operate. And the reason, podcast listeners won't be able to see this, but my Zoom background is blurred right now. And the reason for this is aesthetics. It's very messy and there's stamps everywhere.
Wow. I was going to ask you about the postage store. So I didn't know whether
it is an ungodly mess back there. So, and I am not sufficiently ashamed of it to clean it up, but sufficiently ashamed to blur it on Zoom.
All good. And luckily this podcast is audio only, but so I was going to ask you about the postage store. So I thought maybe this is just a hobby of yours, but this is what you're doing right now to make money.
Well, it kind of grew and grew. So it's one of those things where, once you have the setup, like it's an Etsy store. So at some point I started just sort of selling discount postage to postcarding groups who just needed large amounts of bulk postage. And I figured out a way to get it to them cheaper than retail. And then I just kind of expanded until now I have like 1,000 listings for all kinds of vintage stamps from 1920s to like 2000 somethings. And a lot of them, my customers now are wedding planners. So that's also something that did not exist for most of 2020. So now finally it's picking up again for summer and fall.
Where do you get your stamps though? Where do you get your stamps?
Well, I started out on eBay. So if you go to the big section stamps and a small subsection postage, there's a lot of collections and a lot of just bulk postage from years gone by being sold at a substantial discount, usually around 70 cents on a dollar. So you can get, life hack, if you have mail, you can, and you don't mind using, instead of the current forever stamp or, a barcode, if you don't mind putting it together yourself and counting it up, you can use old vintage stamps with old denominations. But you can get it about 70 cents on a dollar, which actually adds up if you're like a postcarding group or an activist group that sends out a lot of mail.
Wow.
And so now it grew and grew and grew, and now it's like a 6-figure revenue store. So at this point, I'm not saying it's 6-figure profit, but
Well, I was going to say, we could use a sponsor if you're so inclined.
Oh, I can record. Yes, that's right. I should record a little ad for you guys. Or no, I should write one of those ad copies and let you guys riff on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it. keeping the snail mail alive, though. It's great.
That's
yeah,
cool.
like Casper Mattress and other things, that all my podcasts, can't be without. Lumber Liquidators and Casper Mattress
and HelloFresh, and you can be one of those companies.
Blue Apron. Can't do without Blue Apron.
Okay, we're giving them free airtime. We shouldn't be doing that. Well, you know what? It's
postage.store.
It's about time we got somebody who could translate Victor for us as a Russian interpreter. Now you can tell us what he's been saying all this time.
Has he been mumbling aggressive things under his breath?
I only curse in Russian.
Yeah.
So where did you pick Russian?
Just out of curiosity, how old were you when you emigrated?
I was 8.
So you learned all of your horrible Russian swears, which are horrible by age 8. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've already had.
Hey, kindergarten was rough in USSR, man. There's some degens in kindergarten in USSR.
It's the only way to survive in the playground.
Wow.
Sorry, Tanya. I think I cut you off.
No, I was just asking, where did you pick Russian up from?
I grew up in USSR.
Oh, did you?
So how old were you?
I too was one of the kindergarten teachers. I grew up in Moscow.
Wow. And how old were you when you emigrated?
I was slightly older, so my repertoire of swears was probably a tiny bit larger. I was 12.
Oh, okay. So that's awesome. All right. So, thank you for coming on to the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're on because you're a patron. So we want to thank you for your patronage and for joining us today. When did you discover Letterkenny?
I think I discovered it pretty soon after it came on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who mentioned it to me, or if we just kind of saw it pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was pretty hooked, literally from the cold open.
Yeah, that's great. And
from the cold open to season 1, episode 1 is still probably one of the best scenes they've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, show of hands, like what can beat the chirping?
Yeah, you come in men for the cold open. Yeah, you come in men for all of us or something like that. Yeah, that's great.
Oh yeah, I was sold, man. I was like, yep, I'm watching literally all of this.
Yeah, it did nothing for Tanya and Victor, but it definitely hooked me right away.
I think I was sold the moment he said that. Wayne said, "What kind of backwards fucking pageantry is that?"
Yeah, it's.
I was like, "Yep, I'm in love."
Sounds about right.
For low brow humor, it definitely had some highbrow dialogue. All right, so here we go.
How are you now?
How was your week? Today's lineup's going to be Matt, Tanya, Al, Victor, and we'll give our guest the last word. Matt, how's your week?
Yeah, not much has changed since last week. I went from staring at a bucket to now staring at a bunch of bottles. And that's going to go on for 2 weeks. So imagine the next week is basically the same thing. And Anna, you get that look. I don't know if you had listened last week's, Gaz. I can
guess you're brewing something.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, there. I don't know. You filled in all the blanks. We're good.
I'm just sort of thinking like, okay, bucket. It wasn't a tub, so I'm guessing not moonshine or gin.
No. There's no acid in a tub. It is an ale.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really all that's changed. I'm staring at these damn bottles, counting the days down that I can actually drink the fucking things. But yeah.
So did you taste it before you bottled it?
I did.
And?
I did. I could hit. There was flavor there for sure, but it's not carbonated, right? So it's hard to. It basically feels like flat beer at that point. So my wife had a drink, and she's like, "It doesn't taste good." I'm like, "Well, it's not carbonated. That you need that carbonation to give you to really make the flavors pop." But
and how do you add the carbonation?
It happens naturally. So you add a priming sugar to the mixture as you bring it over to the bottles, and then over the next couple weeks they sit there, and the sugars. I'm going to get all this wrong, but eat up the yeast and whatever, and basically turn it into a carbonated beverage. So it naturally happens over the next couple weeks. So by next Saturday, I can throw them in the fridge. I might even most of them will wait a little longer, but by next Saturday I can throw them in the fridge, and then a day or two later I will drink my first beverage. So 2 weeks from now, I'll be reporting on whether I succeeded or not.
So were you actually following a recipe, or is this like a Matt original?
No. I will get there.
Mm-hmm.
I will get there. But this is literally the first batch I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought one of those kits. They give you the yeast, they give you the hops, they give you the malts,
Right.
and they tell you how to do it. So I followed it to a T because I'm like, I want to at least know what the basic process is, and then I'll begin to start playing. But yeah, I want to get a couple batches under my belt, just following the process. But I'm already buying new gear. I bought a bar.
What?
I did buy a bar. Yeah, I bought a bar. Not
You're
like
really getting into it.
Not an establishment, but like an old retro tufted bar.
Oh, cool.
For $40 on Marketplace, because that's my new favorite place.
Oh my God.
And,
you're tell Jen to lose your internet password, because
someone needs to take it away from me for sure. It's my
Our neighbors had a bar in their garage.
Yeah, we used to go and hang out there before the COVID happened.
And they would pop open the garage door and it would be bars open, and then whoever would stop in. And it was a great time.
Yeah, many a night spent in there getting very, very drunk and listening to cassettes and yeah, it was
absolutely.
The Toronto chapter will be opening soon.
Yeah,
there you go.
Very nice. Tanya, how was your week?
Busy. Work's been busy. I don't think anything news happened. I can't remember.
Yeah, pretty boring.
Your dad's birthday was today.
That was today. That's right. We helped him celebrate out in the backyard. He came over.
Happy birthday, Dad!
He turned 70 today, and we gave him a
COVID
friendly gathering.
Thankfully, it was a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
We were in +12 today, so that was really nice. And got to spend some time outside and have memories back when we used to all hang out and be together as a family. So looking forward to that happening again soon.
Yeah, soon enough. My week has been a shit show with work. Just so busy. And yeah, I have nothing to say about that except, oh man, I can't wait for this project that we're working on to end in a couple of weeks. And then there's been movement on the new gig, Victor, FYI. They're going to post the position at the end of the month. So hopefully by mid to late April, maybe I'll be in my new position. So I can't wait for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
How was your week, Victor?
Similar to yours. Things are just, crazy busy at work. And so when I kind of shut down, I've been really focusing on my hobbies and spending a lot of quality time with my guitar and, playing some tunes, making some new music. So feeling good and inspired about that, playing with my trains, watching my hockey teams lose, and counting down the days till Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out. So, just a hobby stuff.
When you say hobbies, I just picture you sitting in trains. That's all.
Yeah.
Sitting in trains, playing my guitars, watching the hockey. What else?
That's quite the playroom you've got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually do. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice down here. I like it. All it needs is a bar.
How to have older children.
I got one.
Yeah. To have older children who don't demand your time all the time, and then you have time to yourself again. Anna, how's your week? How's your week in Brooklyn? How's the weather down there?
It is actually really picking up. Like spring is in the air. About a week ago, my cat, who's 19, has really started yelling to go outside on the terrace.
Wow.
I'm lucky enough to have a terrace with like potted plants, and an old cat who has really missed the terrace, man. And she's starting to scream, but it's still too cold when I let her out. So she kind of wiggles around and runs back in, but then she asks to be let out. It's a whole thing.
And she won't leave. She won't leave the terrace. She won't leave the terrace.
Well, she wants to be out there, but as soon as she walks back in, she forgets that it was cold and windy. So she asks to be let out again. And she walks out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's why I came back in."
They don't try to wander away further than the terrace.
Well, it's we're on the 7th floor. It's like a
no place to
balcony.
wander.
Feline suicide.
No, she can. Oh, there's actually a place to wander because it's connected to a neighbor's terrace. And she has, in fact, wiggled out between the bars and like scampered off to the neighbors. And all we can do is just stand there like, can't come back. Come back immediately. They have a dog.
Oh,
Well,
Come back before the doggy sees you.
you and Victor appreciate this. Then my 7-year-old tonight, as I was putting him to bed, he said, he was a little bit nervous about going to bed. He still gets kind of scared. And he said, oh, I'm just going to think about happy thoughts, like being an adult and having a bunch of cats.
There you go. Tell your kid that whatever he's imagining, that is exactly what adulthood is. It's just you and a bunch of cats forever.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a good life right there.
all right.
Also, I'm watching the thermometer. The ground in my frozen pots on the terrace is finally unfreezing. So, God willing, and the mercury, if the mercury doesn't drop again, I can pull up my turnips.
Pull them up.
I have turnips overwintering in a long pot that I did not pull up in November.
Oh, wow.
So that's a long
my
process
gosh.
for turnips.
That sentence should be on a bumper sticker somewhere.
I have turnips overwintering in my pot. That's a thinker. If you get stuck behind that in traffic.
Such a specific one.
I know.
love it.
So Victor, you may not want to get into bumper sticker design. I don't know if there's a future there for you.
There you go.
Oh.
All right, let's welcome our new Twitter followers. We have 11 this week. So welcome to new followers: JL, Christopher Keenan, Taylor Christoph, Matt Hayes from Manchester, Pennsylvania, Maddie from Rhode Island, Rob Murray, Rob Kugler, Joe Ike, Vanessa from Tacoma, Washington, Brandon Traster from Clayton, New Jersey, and Adam Grigsby from the mountains. Thank you all for following and hopefully for listening.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Last week, we recapped and reviewed episode 1 of season 5, We Don't Fight at Weddings. That episode got a fresh from Tanya, Matt, and myself, and a clearance from Victor. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 85% of you disagreed with Victor, obviously, and gave this a fresh. Only 15 gave it a clearance, and no one gave it a compost. This week, we recap and review episode 2 of season 5, The Old College Try. Matt,
I'm going to let his script be wrong and just allow it to continue.
What's wrong?
Anyone
Matt also gave it a clearance, but anyway, please continue.
Matt gave it a clearance? Oh, wait. It was Victor. Victor, Tanya, and myself who gave it a fresh, and Matt gave it a clearance. That's right.
That was the odd one.
Yeah, that's what threw me off.
It's rare that happens, but I'm going to own it because I stand by my decision.
Are you going to own it? Because I thought you were just going to let it go there.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, my bad. Matt, have you done your homework? Twice. Well done. Tanya, have you done your homework?
Actually, I've done it twice too. Can I count that?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right,
I've done my homework, multiple times. Victor?
That's what she said.
Well, in spite of you, I did do my homework just in time.
Okay, Matt threw me off this week, all right? I know I didn't send you your reminder
Matt's
on
going
time.
under the bus again.
Yeah, I'm throwing Matt under the bus. This is all on him. Anna, have you done your homework?
Also, believe it or not, twice.
Twice?
Once a few days ago and once, just a couple hours ago to refresh my memory.
All right. Well, we appreciate your commitment. Here we go. We start with the cold open. The Hicks are at the Letterkenny Ukrainian Center bar having drinks and talking about their pal's second cousin, Garrett's, not Jarrett, who's a good guy. Garrett's moving down to LA to try to be an actor. Katie thinks he's winning for the weather alone, but Derry doesn't think so. Says it shouldn't be warm all the time. 4 season helps keep a man regular. Derry wonders why Garrett's moving to LA to be an actor. Isn't that something you just kind of are? Katie disagrees. She argues that a librarian isn't a librarian without collecting a paycheck. They have to work.
Can you do that?
Do what?
Or earn a living as an actor. That's a thing?
Sure it is.
So you can earn a living as an actor, you say?
Yeah, how do you think Brad Pitt bought all those paintings and became so passionate about architecture?
I would smash that dude like a Category 5 hurricane off the coast.
Huh. Garrett's going to LA to make a living as an actor. Good time to be alive.
I wonder if the Brad Pitt line came before or after Brad Pitt shouted out Letterkenny at that awards that one time. I feel like it predated that. The conversation turns to Wayne going on a jag about LA people and tacos?
LA people should shut the fuck up about tacos.
What's this?
You never met one before? That's all they fucking talk about. Hey, you like tacos? Let's get some tacos. You know who's got great tacos? Well, these guys have the best tacos. You like tacos, right? Tacos, tacos, tacos. Venice Beach tacos. It's fucking fish steak or cornitas wrapped in tortillas. How good can it fucking be?
He's right.
Dairy.
Derry thinks
I love that he calls it tortillas.
Derry thinks LA people should also shut the fuck up about hiking. My mouth's not working today. Says it's just an asshole's word for walking. He wasn't born yesterday. It's all tacos and hikes and tacos. Squirrely Dan asks, but how are you to know that hikings and tacos aren't better in LA?
They are.
Aren't they?
Everything's better in LA.
Says who?
People in LA.
Yeah, didn't you never not notice that people from up here go down to LA and then they come back up here calling it LA?
Is that what they do?
LA.
LA.
Thank you. LA.
Thank you.
And everything's better in LA.
What, never met one of them before? It's all they talk about. What, you've never even been to LA? You have to come to LA. You love LA. LA, Toyota hybrid fucking cars, LA.
Oh yeah, you think you know tacos, eh? I'm gonna tell you, you're some kind of fucking asshole if you think you know tacos, you never had a taco in LA.
Think you know hiking? You've never seen a hike until you've had a hike in LA.
Oh, I hate the weather up here. It's so much warmer in LA.
Oh yeah, didn't you not know it gets just as cold in LA? It's just a different kind of cold in LA. It's desert, you know.
Pull your finger out of your ass.
That's exactly what I say. So pull your finger out of your ass.
Squirrely Dan tries to call them on their LA BS by asking who they know who's ever been to LA. And you cut to Jonesy at the hockey rink eating a taco, and he asks, "What's this about LA?" And you cut to the theme. All right, Matt, what did you think of this cold open?
I love this one, man. This is so much fun. I mean, it's funny because you hear them all, and oddly with Katie, it felt natural for her to say it. The others felt very forced, but I loved it. And I don't know, it's just the tone they're hitting, but there's this snootiness about this kind of shit. And I thought that they did such a great job of selling it. And the taco thing was very relevant for me this week because we are making a lot of homemade tacos these days and just totally crushing it. But yeah, that's off topic. But anyways.
No, it's not. I like talking about food. What kind of taco we talking about?
It's on taco.
Homemade fish tacos inspired by LA.
Fish.
LA.
Yum, yum, yum.
Tanya, what did you think of the cold open?
It was okay. I want to ask the ending there, how it flashed over to I don't know who.
Jonesy?
Jonesy.
Right. Oh no, Riley. Sorry, Riley.
Why did that happen? Is he from LA or
no?
something?
It's probably an inside joke though, because he out of the cast, he's probably done the most acting, with Disney and stuff. So maybe he spends a lot more time. And I think there's a lot of inside joking there. I mean, we know about.
I thought there was something else happened that I didn't realize.
We know about Jared Kiso's. When he tried acting, went down to L.A. and
that's
came
where
back
I kind of thought they were going to take it.
Well, I think to me personally, I think they wrote this in response to that. Like he went down to LA, hated it, came back here and made himself a star in Canada, right? But Riley is still doing it. He's doing the Disney movies. He's going to be in the next Anaheim Mighty Ducks movie. So, and he's got that LA surfer look with the blonde hair and just the way he speaks and just everything about him, right? Like, so I think it made sense to flash to him. Victor, I guess I can talk about what I thought about it. It was just okay. I mean, it was as far as cold opens go, it's not one of my favorites. It was just okay. I appreciated the new setting, the Ukrainian center. So I guess that means, and we don't know yet, but I guess that means that the old or Modine's 2 is no longer. So I'm sure we'll learn about that later.
Was that what that was? The Ukrainian center?
Yeah.
How did you know it was the Ukrainian center?
There was a Ukrainian sign on the back, but I also just knew just because later on you find out, or I've read somewhere that it's the Ukrainian center, and it looks like a Legion, or it looks like the upstairs of a curling rink or whatever. It just looks kind of like one of these.
I thought they were just in Modine's.
No, that was a Modine's. That didn't look nothing like Modine's.
Have you been watching the show?
Yeah. Are you watching this? Anyway.
Curling rink is very specific. I mean, it's interesting that you said that.
If you ever go into a curling rink in Ontario, at least, but I'm sure it's the same everywhere. And there's always a bar upstairs because that's where curling is one of those those sports that is enhanced by drinking, and it needs to have a bar, and it's usually upstairs overlooking the rink, and that's what
I knew I would like curling.
All professional curlers are cringing right now.
No, they're all agreeing with
Generalization.
me. They're all like, "Damn straight, trust me, I know."
I'm still convinced it's the only sport I could probably compete as an Olympian.
That ice is super slippery. Don't kid yourself. It's
I'm not. But I mean, I'm not trying to discredit it. I mean, I think it's a very skilled sport.
Mhm.
But I've already ruled out things like track and field.
Sure.
I've already
Basically,
ruled out.
most normal sports.
Anything that's
I could learn to curl and
Catch.
drink and throw a rock down the. I was excellent at pool.
Yeah.
You're very good at sweeping.
I did curling in high school. It was a lot of fun. It's actually really fun to play.
I bet it is.
But I don't know. Playing drunk would be asking for trouble. Victor, what did you think of that cold open?
I think it was okay. I the whole gag I think went on a little long. And then the other problem for me, and this is a me problem, is I couldn't really relate to the humor so much. Right? It's not like I'm around people from LA that talk like that and are always going on and on and on about it. So I kind of felt like, yeah, okay, I guess I can imagine there's people like that. I guess I can remember one or two people in my entire life that I would have encountered that maybe would have acted like that. And then the relationship there ends, right? And then at that point, okay, guys, move on.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just went on a little long and not completely relatable for me.
Sure. Anna?
I like this cold open because it expanded kind of the weird internal logic of Letterkenny for me. I like to sort of consider I'm here for making it a internally coherent universe, right? So all this kvetching about LA and people who are, go on and on about it basically tells me one of two things. Either there's a sizable percentage of Letterkenny, population 5,000, that makes a pilgrimage to LA and then comes back to go on and on about it. Or, and this is probably the theory I like more, it's just Riley who's been to LA possibly once and who's been since gushing to Katie about it within Wayne and Derry's earshot.
Well, and when
they have internalized all of this and are terribly, terribly upset.
Sure. And when Squirrely Dan calls them on it and he asks them, who do you know who's been to LA?
Who do you know who's been to LA?
They do
and then
stop.
To Riley. Oh, this is the guy.
Yeah, they do stop and think. And for a second there, you wonder,
where did you get all this?
Yeah.
Who is it that's been ruining your life by, all these reminiscences of LA? And then it flashes to Riley. It's like, oh, it's just him.
Yeah. Fair
the one idiot in town.
It's the one guy in town that they can, overhear.
All right. Scene 1 out of the credits. Derry and Squirrely Dan and Katie are in the farmhouse kitchen playing cribbage. Wayne sits at the table in his version of being dressed up which is a flannel shirt with a turtleneck. The others ask him why he's all dressed up as he pours 4 shots of Gussin brew.
Now you know Tanis and I are giving her the old college try.
I get ending things with Rosie because you have feelings for another woman.
She reads too much. She up to something.
And I back that.
Thank you, Katie.
But do you think Tanis is a little rough around the edges?
How do you mean?
Isn't her soil a bit rocky?
Isn't her grain a little bit rough for the lathe?
Well, only one way to find out, Super Chieftains.
Next scene at the hockey arena, Riley and Jonesy are at the entrance, psyching themselves up for a new hockey season.
So many off-season reps, buddy. So many preseason reps, buddy. Said no to the juice. And fucking baseball, buddy. We dug deep. Bear down. Time to show the boys some gains. Coach is gonna flip when he sees these gains. Gain Gretzky, gain the Rock Johnson, Shania gain, gains, trains, and automobiles for death. Let's show these boys the legends walk amongst them. Hashtag Legend Life.
You guys want to go back out and try that again? Maybe it's the lighting in here, but I'm not seeing any gains.
What?
Doesn't matter. Team folded.
Why?
It's not enough bodies.
Why?
Because it's senior A whale shit hockey.
I love that. The way coach sees it, they have 3 options. A, they can go to the next town and play for for them. Riley and Jonesy don't like that idea of traveling for whale shit hockey and gains for whale shit hockey. It was even a stretch. Coach reminds them that they didn't get any gains. Their second option B would be to hang them up, but Riley and Jonesy say there's still good rubber left on those wheels. So their third option is to join a championship team right here in Letterkenny as coaches with him. Riley and Jonesy don't like that idea at all. Coach says the team has already won back-to-back ships. That's short for championships, by the way. Riley and Jonesy note that they've actually never won a ship. The team is on track to win back-to-back boats. Riley and Jonesy would love to win a boat.
Love to win a boat, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Then come on. Let's win a fucking sea liner.
Let's win a Great Lakes freighter.
Let's win a cable ferry.
Let's win a cabin cruiser.
Let's win a Boston whaler.
Let's win a recreational trawler.
Let's win a paddle steamer.
Let's win a pleasure barge.
Let's win an outrigger.
Let's win a freshwater vessel.
Let's win a naval drifter.
Let's win a water rambo.
Let's win a landing craft.
Let's win a saltwater lugger.
Let's win a sea tugger. Let's win a luxury fucking yacht. Let's go.
Riley and Jonesy storm off toward the locker room. Coach turns around to reveal the logo on his back for the Letterkenny Shamrockettes. Next scene, outside Tanis' cabin by the lake. Wayne arrives for his date. Tanis steps out with a smoke. Wayne greets Tanis with his usual, "How are you now?" Tanis spits, which stops Wayne in his tracks.
What?
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 The actual fuck was that?
What?
Well, you're standing, breathing, and smoking, so the other thing.
Spitting?
Some barefaced, uncultivated version of it, yes.
What, you never seen someone spit before?
Yes. An inexcusably obese man in the batter's box at a Blue Jays game.
But you never seen a girl spit before?
Yes. A 6-year-old after consuming an insect in her ice cream cone.
But you don't think girls should spit?
I don't say what girls should do.
But you don't like it when girls spit?
Preferably not within my line of sight, earshot, and in a perfect world, ever.
Tanis spits again and asks Wayne if he's hungry.
Am I hungry?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm immediately concerned that sensation may never reestablish itself. What a ride it's been.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. What is this, the 1950s? You want me to go borrow an ankle-length skirt from my auntie? Come on, I cook for you. Let's go.
That's one of my favorite lines. I'm immediately concerned that sensation may never. I fucking love that line. Tanis goes. Go aahead.
I was concerned for Squirrely Dan when he said inexcusably obese man. In case that I thought, oh wait, is he going to throw Squirrely under the bus here? What's happening? And no, it was just a random
baseball,
a baseball player.
Not random, a Blue Jays. So probably like Frank Thomas or one of those fat batters. Tanis goes into the cabin. Wayne doesn't move. He's having second thoughts. Next scene, at the Skid's lair, Stuart and Rold are pacing. They're impatiently waiting for someone.
He was supposed to be here over an hour ago. Try him again. Stuart, I just tried him. And? Straight to voicemail. Aggravating. Stuart. Agitating. Stuart. Alarming. Stuart. Rold. I think I may have a problem. No. I'm in over my head. We all want it. I have no control. We all need it. Then where is it? Right here.
The Skids turn to find someone standing at their entrance holding a bag. The visitor is Everett, played by Alex Harouche. He asks about the meth. Stuart says they have it, and then demands that he bring out his computer and get them into the dark web. Stuart summons the visitor to a stand-up desk, which is just a console table with a bench on top of it. Everett asks Stuart why he's got a stand-up desk. Stuart says, because sitting is quietly murdering you. Everett opens the laptop.
And here we are. The dark web. Why do you guys crave the dark web so much? Because the dark web is exclusive. The dark web is only accessible using special software. Users remain untraceable and anonymous on the dark web. You can hire a hitman on the dark web. Purchase illegal contraband on the dark web. Sell illegal contraband on the dark web. Or you could join a rebel army. Or you could build a bomb for your own rebel army on the dark web. The thrill of having all of that at your fingertips is so metal. What's in the menu today, Chef? I left a tab open for you guys. Something I thought you'd dig. It's funny the way you asked like that, like the dark website was food, because how to cook human meat!
Just then, the Skids get a call from someone named Hard Right J. The Skids don't like the Hard Right mutts, but Stuart wants to ignore the call. But Rold asks him how they're going to find cool new things on the dark web unless they make cool pals on the dark web. Stuart says, "Fine, anything to keep the dark web sustainable." Scene number 5. Yeah,
I wonder if you're going to keep this sustainable.
I'll tell you later what my trick is. Actually, I'll tell you now. My script has the words dark web in a very tiny font. Tanya can confirm.
His own little director's cues.
I guess if you would have bolded it, you would have screamed it out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just my Ron Burgundy moment happening again. Scene number 5. Back at Tanis's cabin, Wayne is finally inside and he's unlacing his boots at the entrance. He's sitting with his legs crossed. Tanis looks at him, bothered.
What are you doing?
What?
Well, you're sitting, breathing, and taking your boots off, so the other thing.
To borrow a phrase from my stance on social media, I don't follow.
Crossing your legs?
Yeah, for a hot second to take my boots off.
Boots or no boots, don't you think it's a little Fruity Loops for a man to be sitting like that?
On the contrary, I'm sitting like this because the less bending over a man does, the better.
Sounds homophobic to me.
Sounds chiropractic to me.
Just checking. I swing both ways, you know, so if you ever want to invite a girl over, or a guy.
Are we gonna have a problem here, Tanis?
Let's just stop talking. Food's ready.
Oh, Wayne uncrosses his legs and bends over to finish removing his boots. Next scene, back to the Skids and their call with Hard Right J, played by Jay Baruchel. Hard Right J starts spewing nonsense about how 100% of human beings are cannibals, the ones on Earth anyway. He offers up this quote-unquote evidence.
Let's rewind the clock. 1840, Ireland. The potato famine forces thousands of those godless heathen bog trotters to migrate to North America. No potatoes, you see. Well, then what did those Patty McProds eat on the fucking boat over here? Fast forward 1955, Des Plaines, Illinois. McDonald's restaurants opened their first location. Not a single cow was photographed that day, and yet they're serving burgers? Gotcha. Now McDonald's openly boasts over 999 billion served.
Hard Right J goes on to assert that Trump spent his first days in office not golfing, but decreasing the percentage of cannibals from 100% down to 13%. Stewart interrupts him to tell him they only joined the dark web to see cool new things, join cool new movements, and make cool new pals. Hard Right J knows how they can make the coolest new pals ever by joining the Hard Right. Scene number 7, back at Tanis's cabin, the two lovebirds are eating. Tanis tells Wayne to eat up. He'll need fuel for later. Then she burps.
What?
What?
The actual fuck was that now?
What now?
Well, you're sitting, eating, and breathing, so the other thing.
Burping?
Yes, some primitive, distressing version of it.
That was nothing.
Terrific.
You can burp too.
Outstanding.
You can fucking fart if you want. You know why? Because it's normal.
But is it fashionable?
It's becoming...
It's unbecoming.
Well, your boyfriend, Daryl...
So good.
...burps and spits.
Derry also chases ducks, draws on the walls, and must be told not to taste or touch everything he sees.
That's true. So is it because I'm a lady?
Who's a lady?
So what, you're saying that girls shouldn't burp too?
I don't say what girls should do.
Well, men shouldn't shackle women. We made prohibition happen. Watch your step.
Already walking on eggshells.
You done your food?
That ship's clear across the pond.
Same. Let's go make a fire because it's a beautiful fucking day.
Is that what it is?
What?
Wow. Scene 8. We'll get to all this gold. At the hockey rink outside the dressing room, coach warns Riley and Jonesy that the team has a bit of an attitude problem. A little bit of leadership going, a little battle of leadership going on. Riley and Jonesy don't care. They just want a cruise ship. They enter the dressing room to find an all-woman hockey team.
Go! Sorry. What the? Yeah.
What are you two doing?
Sorry, boys. Ladies.
We didn't know you were ladies, boys. Not lady boys. We didn't know you were ladies.
You think the door is open to everyone here? Just because Marianne looks like she's homeless doesn't mean you can treat it like a shelter.
Fuck you, Betty Ann. But she's right. Doors aren't open to everybody here. Just because her mitt looks like the back of Christ's head doesn't mean you can treat it like a church.
Fuck you, Marianne. Your mitt looks like Babe Ruth's ball glove from the dirty 30s if 20 more dudes spat chewing tobacco in it.
Ugh. Your mitt's actually a work of art, Betty Ann. Like Salvador Dali's melting clocks. But instead of melting clocks, it's melting salad bowls of off-pink ice cream.
I love ice cream, Marianne. I love all frozen treats. Your mitt looks like I squeezed a cherry red popsicle with a handful of dryer lint.
The two main characters,
so good.
The two main members of the Shamrockettes are Betty Ann, played by Kelly McCormack, and Marianne, played by Jess Salguero, also known as Mean Nanny from Working Moms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she's also on The Boys and a fellow pork chop. So awesome to see her on the show.
So define what is mitt?
It's
what?
What?
Wait, you mean you watched that
You
episode?
listened to that whole thing. And it's still unclear.
You know what? I'll just let the other female.
This is the opposite of the jar.
I'm like,
this is
okay.
Are they referencing their hockey mitts, like their gloves?
Nope.
That's what I wasn't
they
sure.
Are not, in fact, referencing their hockey mitts.
Anna, can you field this one, please?
No.
I'll take this one.
Say it in Russian.
Learn her something, Anna. Learn her something, Anna.
I think Victor knows this one.
Okay. I'm on now. I know what that is.
Okay, good. I didn't know, it's a podcast rating to take
I wasn't entirely sure what they were. Because I was thinking they're hockey players and they're talking about their hockey mitts.
We covered
should have seen that
what you're
coming.
distracted by. So what was I distracted by?
The mitt?
The mitt.
The vag.
The vag?
The mitt.
Gotcha. All right, I'm on.
The catcher's mitt. Anyway, scene 9.
The catcher's mitt, yeah.
I love how Matt's just shaking his head.
Outside Tanis's cabin.
I'm just
fucking embarrassing.
This is fucking embarrassing.
We have
the garbage can when you need one.
It's okay. My wife still has a little bit of innocence in her. That's good. Outside Tanis's cabin, she and Wayne are, and Letterkenny's robbing of her every last shred of it. Outside Tanis's cabin, she and Wayne are sitting around a fire. Tanis comments on Wayne's turtleneck. Wayne shouldn't say he's cold, but most men Tanis knows wouldn't complain about something like that, and that seems to be the last straw for Wayne.
You see the elephant?
You mean next to the bus crash?
That's the one.
Yeah, I see it.
You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
A woman can be what she wants.
That is so nice of you to allow that.
Not what I meant.
I'm kidding.
A woman should be what she wants.
Better.
There's no definition of a woman.
It's the same as a man. There's no definition.
No need to womansplain. I'm aware.
A woman should be what a man she finds desirable.
And vice versa.
Like long term, like in a relationship.
Can confirm.
I don't think you're it, cowboy.
Oh, you think?
I know.
Good enough.
Good stuff. Short term, on the other hand.
How short?
A night.
A night.
An hour.
Maybe more than an hour.
A night.
A night.
Maybe even a morning.
Maybe even a morning.
Because we didn't do all the things I wanted to do.
Well, we talked. We ate.
It was good, right?
Thank you for supper.
My pleasure.
We talked. We ate. We sat by the fire.
So then the other thing.
Good enough.
Good stuff.
They get up and go into the cabin. Production note: Wayne is the king of amicable breakups. Scene 10. Next morning at the farmhouse kitchen, Squirrely Dan, Derry, and Katie are still playing cribbage, or they're playing cribbage again. Wayne walks in and sits at the table.
You've been playing all fucking night.
How'd it go, big brother?
Do you know what? Aside from the end there, so fucking poorly.
Called it.
How poorly? So poor.
He said so fucking poor.
Talking about ultra poor.
Called it.
What I miss?
Taco night.
But not just any taco night. ELA taco night.
Oh, there's no taco night like an LA taco night.
Oh, yeah. You've never had a taco night unless you've had an LA taco night.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it's taco night in LA, and you must have had a hike. Did you have a hike?
Oh, yeah. If you can't have taco night in LA without having a hike.
Oh, yeah. We had an LA hike, but it was so cold. It gets so cold in LA.
Oh, yeah. It's a desert, don't you know?
Oh, yeah. It gets just as cold in LA. It's just a different kind of cold in LA.
Pull your finger out of your ass.
That's what I say. I said, pull your finger out of your ass. You're from LA.
And we fade to black. Well, actually, there's about a dozen more LA jokes before this.
I was going to say, yeah.
But I didn't.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
They get increasingly specific.
Yeah. But
just get so hyper specific, and the more specific they get, the more likely they get for the. It's like, wait, whoa, hold on.
I love how you phrase that, hyper specific, because that's the way I would have called that, and then you're dead on.
All right, initial thoughts, Matt.
It was fun. I like this one a lot. I mean, there's a lot of good things. I mean, I love everything about the dynamic that they built around Tanis and Wayne from start to finish. Because I think it was the last one we were talking about this, and I said that they're. It was easy to see in advance that they're going to be a hot mess. Like, they're not for each other. It's so obvious, and this was so perfect in how they displayed it playing out. To go a little personal, I've come out of a hot mess relationship, but what I loved of what they did here is that what I've done with my new one is they were brutally honest throughout it, right? There was nothing holding back. Wayne was like, here's what I do. She would, fight back. That's cool. And they were right out in the open. And then ultimately culminated them saying, this isn't for us. But at the same time, it was very mature in a way that they're like, we're still young. We got needs. Let's go have a good time. I loved how it all played out. The intro of Jay Baruchel. I'm a massive Jay Baruchel fan. I love him. People love or hate him. I love him. I think
undeclared all the way.
I think he's fantastic. Even back to like the Trotsky and other things he's done. I'm a big fan of his. So I know he comes more in the next episode. I love.
The next episode's called Hard Right Jay. So yes, we're going to get lots more of them.
Absolutely. There was just a lot of good. Mark Ford was spot on. He always is spot on. But I just really enjoyed the story in this one. I thought they did a really, really good job of telling what a attempted failed relationship looks like, and they did it fantastically.
Tanya?
Okay, so here's what I didn't get. Other than
the myth.
Other than the myth, which that one's going to stand for a while, I'm sure. So here's what I didn't get. Didn't Wayne and Tanis already go down that path once? Like, she called him up saying she was pregnant.
Yeah, so they had the one hookup, but it was just a one night stand. He went to have steaks, and then they hooked up, and then she got pregnant, and yeah.
Because they kind of built this like this was their first time. Like, he was doing up
as a couple. They were trying the couple thing.
Don't confuse dating with what they did.
Just had a one night stand the first time.
All right,
and this
I actually understand what you mean, because it's there's because of the season change, isn't it? It's remember when he breaks up with Rosie because Tanis makes eyes at him at the day for Thunder Bay. It's summer. And now it's winter, and now it looks like it's still their first time.
Oh, right.
Driving over.
And they've already been
to a wedding together. Yeah. So.
And they've already been to a wedding together, and they've already had that, like, and Tanis went to the hot tub party and stuff like that, trying to win him over.
So they've clearly gone out together, and they've clearly done. So clearly they've had sex. Clearly they've gone out. But in all this, it seems Wayne had never taken off his boots in front of her.
Yes.
So this is the first time he's actually seeing this process happen.
Right.
Well, we've seen
so the rest of the time it happened upright in the bar.
Yeah.
And Tanis has even cooked for him, like that whole barbecue, that cookout. And I'm like, why all of a sudden have they known each other?
Well, there's always been other people other than when they're having sex. There's always been other people
versus one-on-one.
Yeah, this time it's just the two of them at her cabin, acting like a couple.
There's nothing to say that they've ever actually dated.
Yeah, I think this is like an actual date. Like going with somebody to a wedding. I mean, sure, it's a date, but not because you're still with friends.
People up. Like there was no good behavior.
Yeah.
There was still like the raw.
No, but that behavior is that's acceptable behavior by Wayne in terms of like beating, like fighting. What isn't acceptable is spitting or burping or unbecoming stuff from a lady. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was having a hard time kind of matching up what their relationship was and what it's now going to be and now is not. Anyways, loved the bantering between Wayne and Tanis. Loved they're so smart. They're so clever with their lines and how they set them up. But the other interactions between the Hicks and their LA references, and it just felt like the other portions of the episode was just commercials, like we've called them out before. They just seem to be so repetitive, and they just bored me. Like they would say the same line over and over again, just changing one word, and that's never really been my thing. So that became a little tiresome. There you go.
Okay. So when we talked about the how this podcast started, Tanya walked in on me watching Fart Book and said, "What the fuck are you watching?"
Yeah.
When I say that I sat her down and showed her another episode to prove how this was a good show, this was the episode I showed her, because I just watched it and I'm like, oh my God, the writing in those Wayne and Tanis scenes was brilliant. It's like not since Relationships have I seen better written scenes. Like in Relationships, I love the scene with Wayne and the too hard date, the
psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist date. I loved the dialogue between those two, the acting and everything, and that's why
they still have that Letterkenny, like the repetition of the joke. But they do it in a better way. They do it in a clever way and in a smarter way.
So that one there, Relationships, still my number one episode in my top 5s. And this one here, that the dialogue written in this, the scenes between Wayne and Tanis are the same, are at that same level. I love it. Like so well written. The interaction, the even the breakup scene, just really well acted. Can't say enough. Yes, the LA stuff was tiresome. I wish it wasn't in this episode. The Riley and Jonesy thing, that's just setting up a storyline for this season, and I think that was fun. And the Skids also setting up a storyline that we're going to see in the next episode. So call them commercial breaks or just call them what they are, setting up the story. It's fine. The main story here between Wayne and Tanis was brilliant. Some of my favorite stuff on the show. Victor?
Okay, well, let me help Tanya out here. So go find kind of one of your favorite hardcover books on the shelf, and one with a jacket, and probably what will happen is if you take the jacket off, the book will actually be a lot nicer on the inside, and that's kind of this episode, right? Because all the gripes you have about it are really the ends. It's the book cover and the book end. So if you just kind of remove the book jacket off this episode, what you get left with is a really darn good story, with peppering in with some other great things to come. I can't wait for the locker room scenes now. We were all getting a little tired of the locker rooms.
The Boomtown and the
Boomtowns. Yeah, I think that was getting repetitive, and I can't wait where this is going to go. We'll give you a pass, Tanya, now that you understand what that was all about. Maybe you should go and rewatch it. You'll have a different appreciation for it. But you can just see where it's just going to be so much fun. So that was so we had a great setup inside the book. So there was like this teaser inside. And then around that was this just incredible, wonderful, entertaining and really engaged story between Wayne and Tanis. And so I don't know, there's just not much not to love about this episode if you just remove the jacket off the book.
But what about the skid part? Did you like that? The whole cannibalism, dark web.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. You know what?
Listen.
If somebody told you that they found a website about how to prepare human flesh, and you can go visit it, and no one will ever know because it's the dark web and it's untraceable. And just out of morbid curiosity, would you not want to go check that out?
Be honest with yourself, Tanya.
I've never asked myself that question. I have no idea.
But the question was presented in front of you.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. You're asking
my question. How is preparing human flesh any different from preparing any other kind of meat?
Different spices you have to use.
Is that it? It's a different flavor profile, or
exactly
Montreal steak spice.
But that's only on Canadians.
S&P.
Let me just
Marks.
before we get Anna's take, I just want to say about the Shamrockettes stories. I don't like to do spoilers, but in this case, whenever we see scenes because it's Kelly or Betty Ann and Mary Ann, watch the other players because they're the only two who are going to speak. But if you watch the other actresses who are playing the players, and I think they're actual hockey players that they use in those scenes, watch because they're not professional actors, they have a really hard time keeping from breaking. And and even in last night's episode, you can see some of them like trying not to ruin the scene, but fighting back, the laughter. So that's going to happen a lot with these.
And Tanya, just one more thing about the skit scene. I mean, the skit scene, maybe you weren't totally entertained by the whole dark web thing, but then the dark web is what brought us Hard Right J, and that was amusing and entertaining. And I had no idea that he's going to come back. So that's a bit of a spoiler there. So, but that was fun, and he's like, I don't know, have they had other big time actors yet on that show? And big time,
not yet. Whatever. So I mean,
but this is so he's like one of the first kind of celebrities, if you will, doing a cameo, and maybe more than a cameo.
What's he from?
Well, he's a bunch of movies. I'll show you later.
Go and seek out the full season of Undeclared.
Yeah,
I love how Matt just shakes his head.
Okay, Matt, there's something you have to understand about my wife.
Don't let the secret out.
Don't justify it.
No. Celebrity is lost on her. She doesn't know. If she sees an actor, I have to explain who the actor is, and I like that movie. She doesn't. She doesn't key in on who the actors are. She'd be perfect to work at like a film fest or whatever, because she would not.
Listen, you married her. That's your choice.
Alan's actually diagnosed me. What am I?
I forget, but she's face blind. She's face blind.
I have a face. I can't recognize faces.
Sorry, Jen's right up there with you.
Tanya, if you watched Freaks and Geeks, after that there was Undeclared. There was a bunch of actors that came over to that, and he was kind of the main, main character on the show. But Seth Rogen, so many others. He's been in lots of great stuff, but that for me, that's one of my favorite things that he's done in the past. But so I thought this was a really fun that he was on this, and can't wait to see more. But again, Tanya, judge, don't get dismayed by the cover of the book.
All right, let's let our guest have a word. Anna.
Oh boy. This is definitely one of my favorites for all the reasons mentioned. The interplay between Wayne and Tanis, how unexpected it is in the sense that you do not expect the issues that come up between them is that she thinks Wayne isn't manly enough for her. That is the last thing one would expect, but there we are. I love the Shamrockettes with their endless mid insults. I could have done without some bits. So maybe the skids, the little bit with the skids, the endless names for various boats they're going to acquire. But other than that, it feels pretty smooth. Like you said, they're advancing storylines. They had their. It's got its riffs. It's got its drum solos. I think of the endless interplay. Like all the names of boats are like a drum solo.
Yeah.
And the rest is, but maybe a little bit drum heavy. But the rest of it is just great. And I loved hearing Hard Right J because I just, as soon as he started talking, I remember I turned to my husband and said, "Is this Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon?"
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And of course it is Hiccup
Absolutely
from How to Train Your Dragon. So I closed my eyes and I imagined all of that being said by Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Good for you.
So then my husband pointed out that this is what Hiccup might have turned into if he had killed the dragon after wounding it in the beginning of the movie. Yeah. He would have gone down the dark path. And that cements my headcanon for Hard Right J is that this is what he turned into.
Wow.
That's such a good.
You just gave the origin story to the band Imagine
that's the
Dragons.
origin, that's my origin story for Hard Right J.
My head just exploded.
And also, I think this episode should be commended for possibly the only valid use of womansplain ever. Which, I mean, you got to hand it to Wayne. You know, if you're going to interrupt a woman to say that she's womansplaining something to you, like, okay, buddy, you know what? Yeah, she was kind of going overboard. And
it was delivered flawlessly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with his impeccable, again, a true drummer's sense of timing that Kiso has.
What I like the contrast between Wayne's timing, that patter, but Tanis's kind of reaction, like she doesn't have that timing. She's more like a natural reaction to everything. Like her reactions during the breakup, some of her reactions to him are so easy and so natural that they look so real. The way she would react to what he was
she
saying.
makes full use of her face, unlike Wayne, who has one facial expression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
he's all sound and
eyebrows or squints. You know, they have different degrees of squints.
Well, one thing we didn't call out was after he went into the cabin after her, and just before he closed the door, he did that little jump that he does.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Whenever he stands up, he jumps to attention first, and then he. Yeah.
Oh, Wayne is. Wayne is like. I'm not going to say he's my spirit animal, but I mean,
are we going to have? I
know
problem,
you guys have
Tanis?
mentioned that he's on the spectrum, and he is 100% on the spectrum.
Yeah, it becomes more and more clear as these episodes go that he's somewhere on that spectrum for sure.
And I don't know how Kiso arrived at this character. You know, I don't know how he decided, first of all, that the two characters that he's going to play on the show are going to be both sound like Mickey Mouse, except one of them is going to be Mickey Mouse on Xanax and the other is going to be Mickey Mouse on meth.
And let me say, Betty Ann and Mary Ann are basically female versions of Shorzy that just chirp at each other. At least in this episode, they're just female Shorzy for sure that we can see.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's get to ratings here then. Matt, what do you give this episode? Fresh, clearance, or compost?
Yeah, I mean, I won't dick around. It's for sure a fresh on this one. I loved the story. I loved the way they told the Tanis and Wayne tale on this one. But also, I mean, I want to go a bit further. They introduced two new elements of story. So the skid aspect and the intro of Hard Right J, I'm really excited about that. I know he doesn't stick on spoiler, but he doesn't stick on very long. But regardless, I like it's a new element. But that was great. And then the Shamrockettes intro was amazing. And if you look at the Shamrockettes and the Wayne and Tanis thing, there was a massive script flip from what you're traditionally used to in those two scenarios, right? So the Shamrock, like how they went at each other was so brutal, and I thought it was so well done. I laughed my ass off to the Betty Ann and Mary Ann, I think it was.
Yeah.
Everything they went back and forth on was like had me in stitches. I was dying, and it was so brutal and out there. And I'm like, this is so good.
It was art. It was absolute art.
It really was. Yeah, no, that's exactly what
if you understand it.
Yeah.
I love the reference to Salvador Dali because if you think about it, they're
the melting clock.
Insults,
oh my god!
Yeah, the melted clocks that became the melted bowls of off-brand pink ice cream.
Yeah,
if you think of their insults as surrealist paintings, Shorzy is more like abstract because he comes at you from completely unexpected angles and things he says are sometimes not even insulting. They're just weird. but like those two.
I appreciated that they weren't sitting in the can when they were doing it.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked Victor and Tanya have mentioned how over the top though. I mean, you guys were pretty disrupted by Gail early on as well, and they are right up there with Gail in terms of
they've grown to appreciate Gail now.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we're ready for a Mary Ann and a Betty Ann because we've come accustomed to Gail, and now it feels okay. But I mean, to finish my point, like even the whole Wayne and Tanis thing, they flipped the script there too. You know, all the stereotypes. You know, the womansplain was a great thing, Anna, that you called out because you wouldn't hear that term in that context, but it was delivered so well in the right context in a way that everyone understood because it's totally reversed. And like some of the things that you would, commonly in reverse, like again, it normally be from my experience. And this is the woman saying, like you let a burp go. What the fuck? Like, why would you do that? That's gross. Like who does that? Like my wife still yells at me every time I let one go. But like things like that, this is a regular occurrence, but it's totally flipped.
Yeah.
And honestly, that main scene, the only thing that upset me was the fact that she was smoking. Like the burp doesn't bother me one bit, but I mean, and I am a previous smoker and I don't care about people that smoke. I just personally don't find it very attractive. So that was the only thing in that scene that caught me off guard. But everything from then on, everything that Tanis called him out on was a script flip. And I loved it because it just was just a different perspective. And I love different perspectives. So yeah, it's 100% a fresh episode.
Tanya, you ready?
I have to share a story because Matt's just like totally brought it all forward in my head. There was a situation. You should be.
Oh shit.
So there was a situation with one of Alan's cousins, and he is very very European, very
male chauvinist, and like girls don't do that sort of thing. And we spent the weekend with them at a cottage, and we were down at the fire, and he was ripping shots left, right, and center, and just doing his thing, and something I don't know whether I just got pushed too far one way that he just kept on asking her to do things and he wasn't anyways. I ended up ripping a shot. I went over to the fire. I put a log on and I ripped it hard and loud, and I knew it was coming. And Alan was just like kind of like sitting there shaking his head and like putting his head down and his hand over his face. And Alan's cousin's like, you did that, right? And like saying to Alan, like, you take the ownership of that. And he's like, no, that was her. And he walked away from the fight. He was so pissed off at me. He was so bothered by it. He walked away from the fire, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, we have the same. So I'm full on Tanis on this. I completely I feel her. I'm like, absolutely loved the storyline, loved that she called him out on things, and she was rough around the edges, but she was rough in a great way. Like it was a perfect storyline. So your rating would be?
So I love but I did. Victor called it.
And here comes the pain.
Victor called it. Like the other stuff just bored the shit out of me. It really did. It was just too much repetition. And my apologies. I didn't see the whole How to Train Your Dragon, so I don't have that to call back on. You
have kids. What do you watch?
I've never seen that movie.
I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Okay,
the first one. The first one. It's now like a multi sequel series.
Yeah. Many.
The first one is fantastic.
The first one is just a masterpiece of.
I totally agree with you, Anna.
It is a perfect family cartoon. So it is definitely not a children's alone or
seeing as though we've been in COVID for a year and we're running out of new things to watch and we haven't watched that one, I shall put it on the list for this weekend. But for now, I didn't get it. I will go back and watch the whole mitt thing now that I know that if they're not talking about their hockey gloves. I'm like, I'll watch that again. But for now, I'll just stick it in the clearance because those things just kind of floated over me and I was kind of bored.
Okay, that's fair.
There you go.
I disagree wholly. Oh, and Matt's holding up a D. I think he's trying to distract you. He's trying to distract you with
a D. Is it a D? Flip it around.
Wait, are we supposed to bring props? Here, I have a prop.
She's got a prop. She's got a stamp on her forehead.
This is a boat.
Oh, nice.
A
ship. It's a ship.
It's a schooner, not a sailboat.
Let's get the traditional American Samoan double canoe, boys.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. Okay, this is, 100% fresh for me. I won't rehash everything I've said because it's glowing. I just got to one thing I do want to say, and I've commented this on Twitter before. A lot of shows, they once they land on one like kind of a catchphrase or saying or kind of like joke, they'll ride it until it dies. I feel like Letterkenny creates these on an episode by episode basis. I love the device they use in this one, where it's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What? Well, you're sitting there. You're doing your boots, blah blah blah." The other thing, and they repeated it 3 times. Yeah. I loved it. Like, so well written, so well thought out, like brilliant and creative. And again, a lesser show might have used that, like, across multiple episodes. Letterkenny uses it once, and they're going to throw it away, and they're going to create something brilliant for the next episode. That's what I appreciates about this. This is absolutely a fresh for me. Victor?
Yeah, it's a fresh for me. It's not 100% fresh. There's, when you take the 3 elements that weren't great, it brings it down from being perfect. And those 3 elements are, a bad cover, a bad back cover, and that whole minutia on the whole boat. So I didn't really get like why did we just spend 2 minutes talking about boats?
So the coach can lose his shit. Like those scenes where
whatever.
Is that the only reason?
Yeah,
I thought there was another inside joke to that.
It's just driving it up and up and up.
He's just getting more and more excited about a ship, like a championship, right? So it's just, so they're just naming off boats. They're doing what they do. They riff, right?
I get it.
It's another drum solo.
Yeah.
I get it. I just didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. Just didn't. It wouldn't go on my playlist.
Yeah, like whenever they riff on the words that are uncomfortable, or that moist or whatever. Like that's what they do.
Yeah. I don't need any more mansplaining. I get it.
I know. I'm mansplaining to my wife, not to you, Victor.
but anyway.
Yes.
But those 3 things, those 3 scenes out, we're left with what I would say is just pure gold, Jerry.
Yeah.
It's just gold. And those lines out of Kiso, I can't say verbatim, but it's the way it was your favorite line too, Al, about being hungry or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I fell off off my chair when he said that.
It was such a great line. That one goes in the pantheon of lines.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just pure gold. Like you just no question about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got Hard Right Jay, for all those reasons, it's not a perfect episode, but what's there is golden.
Awesome. Anna.
Same. I mean, fresh, except for the minor hiccup. Hiccup. The minor interludes. The cover of Li, which I mean, okay, fine. I'm a Letterkenny fan. I know about Kiso's complicated relationship with LA, but for anybody who's coming in cold, this must be a very strange interlude to listen to.
Fair enough.
Yeah, agreed.
Without any insider knowledge of why are you picking on Li?
Yeah.
But yeah, great. The Betty Ann and Marianne are like, I think, MVPs of this episode. Tanis and Wayne, they're also great, but I want to give MVP to Betty Ann and Marianne just because they've made such an incredible entrance.
Yeah.
That was their introduction. And it was, I mean, you could not wish for a better introduction to characters.
You put it earlier. It was art.
It's art. It's absolute chirping art. If chirping was art, they were the Salvador Dali of chirping. I love that, and I did love that Tanis and Wayne's, problems with each other were so unpredictable from the previous point of view of the show. Really, Tanis's problem with Wayne was that she was behaving like a prissy maiden auntie from the Victorian era. And his problem with her, well, that we got some exposure to because they previously mentioned isn't she a little rough around the edges, but we didn't realize that she was also going to have problems with him having a boyfriend. And I love these, by the way, I love the weird insistence that Daryl's his boyfriend. from Tanis, because you'd think Wayne's objection to this would be, so what if Daryl like spits and burps? I don't have to maintain an erection while talking to him. Like I'm not in a relationship with him. But his reply was, well, he also draws on walls and chases ducks.
Yeah.
Like
He's an 8-year-old. Yeah.
Wait, hang on. That's your problem with. Wait, so hang on. So if Daryl wasn't such a child, he would be your boyfriend. Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. I'll take that.
Awesome. All right.
I don't see what's wrong with chasing ducks, but anyway.
Yeah, chasing ducks and drawing on walls and taste testing everything.
All right, we're approaching the longest episode I think we've ever done. Let's do the quickly top fives. Starting with Matt. Does this break your top 5, Matt?
No. I mean, I loved it, but it's a top 10, but I wouldn't say it's a top 5.
All right, Tanya. I'm going to guess that's a no for you.
No.
This is definitely in my top 5. I'm probably going to sneak it in.
You just got a thing for Tanis.
Number 3. It's like I said, the writing in this, the dialogue in this, and Tanis. I mean, Tanis is awesome in this one. But Tanis and Wayne were so much fun in this, and this is a banner episode. A Letterkenny, like you talk about this episode, the old college try. It's one of those episodes people know, and for sure, it's in my top 5. Victor, does this make your top 5?
I don't know. It's a hard one. We'll just keep it in our top 10 for now.
Okay. And Anna, I mean, I don't expect you to rhyme off your top 5, but if you want to give us some of your favorites, any that we can look forward to, feel free.
I don't really rank them by episode. I kind of view each scene on its own merit.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes they will have like incredible scenes stuffed into a mediocre episode, or the other way around. The episode itself will be smooth, but like you will have no standout scenes. This one is definitely one of my favorites. For Betty Ann and Marianne, and for Wayne and Tanis's weird bisexual friend energy that they discovered between themselves, and also for Howard J, because I just can't. I can't. I close my eyes and he's wearing Norse armor.
Well, that's funny because now when Tanya finally does get around to watching How to Train a Dragon,
she's gonna basically see Howard J. Fighting dragons.
I shall tell you. I shall change my vote.
All right, let's move on to listener comments. I don't have. We've got a few more Shorzy chirps to read from this past week. I posted his chirps from our episode last week, and he responded saying, "Glad to finally hear you're having a worthwhile discussion, you piece of shit. I needed a break from sexting your mom long enough to catch my breath. I really like the photos she sent of her laying on your Pokemon bed. She make me squirtle 3 times. Give your balls a tug." So, and then I said,
"Squirtle,
fuck you, Shorzy." Fuck you, Shorzy. He said, "Fuck you, Produce Stand. I might have given you too much credit. Honestly, I've heard better content from boys dropping trow in the locker room stalls after poutine and pudding. I'm afraid listening too often and too long may give me debilitating case of sudden onset ED." And that's from Shorzy. So we're not getting any more listener comments other than Shorzy comments, but just got to give them props because they are well written. All right, so like I said, we're approaching one of our longest episodes, so let's do some final comments before I close us off. Matt, do you have any final words?
I mean, not much. This was a fun one. Anna, thanks for joining us. I always love having my listeners on the show. It's such a blast. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I know I gave my clearance last episode. I stand by it. It was a solid episode, but I thought they missed the ball in the city. It's just to recap. I thought this one, they did a great job, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Awesome. Tanya?
Thanks to Matt for providing some D, even when the show didn't.
There's a lot of myth, though.
There you go. And he even has it the right way now.
By the way, Matt's showing us the letter D.
Wait, did you say there's a lot of myth?
Mitt. Yeah. And
Mitt? Oh, Mitt. I thought you were like, okay, never mind.
See? It's confusing, right? Not just me. Not just me.
I think I'm going to blame my speakers on this. This is, again, old camera, old speakers. I'm just going to blame the equipment here.
Yeah, it was, that was all I had to say.
All right. I'd like to, Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and for being a patron. And and Matt's spelling out Mitt on his screen now. Thank you I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right. And
it's been a blast.
And we'll have you back. We're starting to go around. Well, we've got a couple more patrons that haven't been on yet, but now I'm going to go back to our previous guests and see if they want to come back on. So we'll have them on soon. Actually, next week we're having Crystal on. She's one of the few remaining patrons who haven't had a chance to join the panel. So she'll be joining us next week. And I'm looking forward to Hard Right Jay next week. And so is she. When I told her which episode she was doing, she got very excited. So that'll be fun. Victor.
Yeah, so
so Victor got his baseball mitt out.
So you just happen to have that laying around there, did you?
Seriously.
I've got everything. Any prop you need, I'll
Any
be able
prop
to
you
produce
need.
Oh man.
But anyway,
my gosh. Matt's spelling it out. Victor's bringing the prop.
Oh, there we go.
And now Anna's showing her kitten.
Oh my
I was going to say the other word, but kitten's probably more appropriate.
I figured. Okay, I don't have a mitt, but
at 19 years old, I'm not sure that's a kitten at 19. But yes,
it is. They're always a kitten. It's always they're always important.
Speaking of which, Victor, we haven't had a pumpkin update in a while. How's Pumpkin doing?
Pumpkin is doing super well.
Okay, good.
She was on the brink of death, and she is completely bounced back. She can't wait for the good weather to go outside and start, chasing the birds and admiring the squirrels and all that kind of stuff. So she's right now doing super well. We know that there's this underlying issue that she has with her kidneys, but whatever, just enjoy your life. She's 13 and a half years old now. And we always kind of joke, because you have to have fun with this stuff, wondering, is she going to make it to the next big, holiday or something like that? And because when things go wrong, they just go wrong all of a sudden. It's not something that, you get a warning for.
Yeah.
So we're just enjoying her for every day that we have, we're able to spend with her, and trying to give her the best life that we can. So, and she's just only mildly amused by it all, and only sometimes appreciates it. So
awesome.
That's Pumpkin.
Anna, any final words?
I love Letterkenny. Don't you guys love Letterkenny?
Yeah.
Growing up.
I hear so many I hear so much hedging on this show about these episodes. Like, you want to justify, it's like, oh yes, well no, it's all great. Let's just let's dial it back. Let's dial it down a little here. We're not super fans here. We have our criticisms. Like, you know what? I'm just going to come out and say it. I love this show. It's a great show.
We wouldn't be doing this if we weren't actual fans. I mean, Tanya's come around, I think, and so is Victor. But Matt and I are definitely super fans. So, we appreciate your fandom and your support and listening to us and your patronage. So now I'm going to play us off with a song that was in this episode, "Good As New" by Vacationer. Well, I can't. Oh, there we go. Is it working now? There we go.
Where's the garbage can when you need one?
Shut up, Matt. Shut up, Victor. "Good As New" by Vacationer. Let that one marinate for a sec.
Make sure you have enough time to do the extra.
Oh no, there's the post comes up pretty quick on this one, so I'll just talk over it. And that's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap and review episode 3 of season 5, Hard Right Jay. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to play some cribbage and then surf the dark web. On behalf of Anna, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.